When I was 6 years old, I broke my leg. And I was running from my brother and his friends, and tasted the sweet perfume of the mountain grass I rolled down. I was younger then. Take me back to when I found my heart, broke it here, made friends and lost them through.
So the way I normally start these off is kind of with a fun question that kind of get things going a little bit. So if you could choose your favorite home cooked meal, what would you choose?
Man, that's a tough one. My wife is an awesome cook. Really, you know what? One of the more recent ones that I absolutely loved, and I think I ate for dinner that night, and then lunch, and then again dinner the very next day was lasagna. It was amazing. Yes,
Hey now,
yes.
that's
I'll go with lasagna with stuffed shells as a close second.
yeah, can't argue with that one.
Oh
That's
yeah,
the winner
yeah,
right
no,
there.
absolutely. Damn, I'm hungry now, but yeah.
For sure. So thank with that, and I think to talk more kind of baseball things. It's one of those things where in everything we do, it's definitely a very people-oriented industry. And especially when it comes to community itself, I know with a lot of things we do, the community is huge. And so for the team, for the organization, what does the community look like?
Well, so I mean, that's a great, and that is something that is so near and dear to me, and something that when I was the previous team I was at, but especially now, I mean, I'm just trying to do as much as humanly possible. And that what I always say is that means, of course, at the stadium, but also definitely out of the stadium. We have this guy he's our player pitching coach. His name is Joe Testa. It's something that he and I started talking about last November, and seeing it come to fruition and the difference it makes is amazing. He called it a 5-tool program, and he's gone to, I should know the number now, but I think it's seriously at least 50 or 60 schools in the last month or so, where he's given to pretty much most of the time. It's like a full gym or a full auditorium, and he gives just a great big spiel on almost, of course, there's a little tie into baseball a lot, but I mean, it's a lot of just being a good teammate, and whether that means literally in a dugout or just in the classroom or at home or, so I mean, the life messages. And I mean, it has been just the most cool feeling ever seeing all these kids come to games. Even, we're in our first week of the season, but already seeing a ton of kids say that they, recognize Coach Joe and all of that. I've had multiple parents of kids who Joe talked to talk about how impactful it was. So that is absolutely amazing. Every Sunday we turn into this year is, and this is a different program, but it's called Little League Sundays, where we invited the entire Little League out. I mean, we've always done a bunch of teams, and we still do have teams during the day or during the week and everything, but every Sunday is Little League Sundays. And then what my bigger goal too is to keep expanding that beyond baseball, little league, t-ball, all of that stuff. I mean, definitely softball, but then definitely football, soccer, lacrosse, all of basketball. If you're a team sport, come on out here and enjoy our team sport.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome too. Especially like how you're saying how the coach goes around and speaks to them, and that's so impactful too. And especially more along the lines of when like the kids come to the games and everything. So as soon as they enter the gate for the very first time, what does that experience look like for them?
Oh, absolutely. Well, I mean, the two easiest things that don't cost a heck of a lot is a big smile and a big welcome. I
Yeah.
mean, that is very real, and it is very, because in a sense, we kind of try and treat it like it's our home, So I mean, when someone's coming to your home for the first time, or even if it's the 10,000th time, give them a great big hello and welcome. So, and then of course the cleanliness and just that it all goes together. But I am I'm always smiling, and I mean, I'm always trying to relay that it doesn't cost a hell of a lot to smile, but it can make a major difference, especially that first impression for people, let alone kids, when they come to the stadium.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that's something I was kind of told all the time too. Is like make sure you do smile and be like, "Hey, how are you?"
That's
Because
real.
it does
That's
it does
real.
go it goes a long way, and
Yes, no, that is very real.
that's oftentimes something that they will remember at the end of the game, like whether if they forget the score or what the numbers were
Oh
in a
yeah.
particular inning.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
and so a lot of times, especially with a team, um, you have a product on the field, and then you have everything going on within the front office. And so, how does everything connect for you guys in terms of that sense?
Well, so I mean, like the manager of the team, his name is Billy Horn, who is, he is top notch. And I mean, and the thing that's amazing is that he is very, very talented when it comes to recruiting players, to signing players, to managing the roster and managing the game, and as he loves to say, managing the bullpen. But he also very much is very in tune with us in terms of the business side and in terms of what that means, not just dollars and cents, but what our goals are and what we're trying to achieve and everything like that. I mean, when I really, really saw it, I hate to say this, but really the first time hands on was when he came up. This was a few weeks before our season for a season ticket holder event. He was the best. I mean, he was the absolute best. And all of these people, there were so many people that he knew, not just by like their face from seeing them at a game. He knew them. He knew their name. He had their number. He knew what, the crew that cooks barbecue. Like, I mean, it was really, really cool to see. And I mean, that was the very first thing I said to my wife. I was just like, I was like, it was just kind of amazing. It was really, really amazing. So, I mean, anyway, so that really goes into hand in hand with what we're doing with our promotions, with our marketing. We have a Billy Horn dog that we sell in the concession stands. And I mean, he freaking loves it. It's the funniest thing ever. I mean, he did a live TV segment with this, one of the TV channels eating the damn Billy Horn dog on before opening day. And he thought it was the coolest. He was just, he loved it. So, I mean, that makes this, significantly lower stress and quite frankly, easier when the manager is so in tune with what we're doing, because then, it feeds into, so are we, of course we want to win. Of course we want to have awesome guys. Of course we want to get them in the community and known and seen by other teams and all that stuff. So, having a manager like that, that's so outgoing is a huge, gigantic help.
Yeah, for sure. And you definitely nailed it too. It definitely sets that tone for everything else, and it is so
Absolutely.
critical. And so, I believe we were saying the first few home games for you guys, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
kind of a weird feeling having the first home game on May 9th. It was a little late,
yeah.
but definitely not complaining.
But yeah, so how's everything been going with that so far? All good, I hope.
Great crowds. We had a great win last night. I mean, I think the roster is really coming together and getting healthy and everything. But from our perspective, it was a great opening night crowd. Wednesday morning was one of our Grand Slam school days, so we had like over 4,000 kids in schools and everything that were here. And then last night was awesome. So yeah, definitely a fun, exciting first week to the year to the season.
Awesome. And I've also noticed how much schedules do change, especially being in the sports industry. You can easily go into one day expecting one thing, and then literally everything can tend to change, within a snap of a finger. So, even like a day like today, how does the day look for you? Given things may change.
Well, so I mean, looking at the weather app is a little annoying, but I'm always optimistic about that, and I'm always, if it is an absolute downpour and it's a downpour for a long time, then there's just nothing that we can do about that. But on the flip side, and knowing that there's not a single thing we can do about it, it doesn't stress me out the way that it did 10 years ago. I mean, when I was or more than 15 years ago, the weather would stress me out like crazy. And now it's just like, you know what? I know what our plan is. I know that we're going to, do every single thing humanly possible to get this game in, because I always tell everyone that, we have no clue why, where, when, everything that fans are coming from. So it's our job to do everything that we can possible to get this game in. But if you just simply can't because of the weather conditions, that's where you end up. But And nonetheless, I mean, and we also have a college tournament going on now. So we're actually, like, as we speak, we've got the second game of the Mountain East Conference tournament going on. So, I mean, that's what I love, is just always something fun going on at the stadium.
Yeah, for sure. And that's also true too. And so I know when I bring this Greek question up a lot, I've gotten a lot of mixed reactions from it. Tarpals, how do you like them?
Well, I mean, like, I started 19 years ago, so for me it was like way more okay. I guess no one ever likes them, of course, but I would, wear the shoes that I was wearing and wear the shoes afterwards. I wouldn't put on gloves. I didn't, feel. But I mean, the old tarp pulls changed over the years. But anyway, we're artificial turf field now, so we will never have a tarp pull again.
Oh, sweet. But
Yeah.
because I even know, like, the first time I've ever did them, I was always told, we're always bringing an extra pair of shoes, always bringing, the extra pair of socks, and all
Trust
that
me, I
stuff.
should have. Don't get me wrong. I definitely should have. My feet would have been, would have thanked me if I did. But I just kind of, hey, it's a lot of those times you kind of don't have that. It is really, hey, tarp. I mean, it's not exactly always something that you can plan 2 hours in advance for. So, over the time, I just kind of just rolled with what I was wearing.
No, it's definitely one of those spur of the moment things, which definitely adds more excitement to the whole scheme of the game. And so, as kind of a final question for you for now, to start kind of wrapping things up. So, I really love this question because I've asked a lot of people it, and definitely got me a lot of different answers. Because the game of baseball is so unique and means so many different things to so many different people. And so, I want to ask you, what does the game of baseball mean to you?
Well, amongst other things, the actual game and, like, on the field and everything, I love it, is that, you don't have to be 7 feet or run a 140 or, have 2% body fat to do it. I mean, baseball is something where it's, you see that there are all sorts of different physiques. And the reason why I'm, like, concentrating on that is that if you're an NBA guy and you go into a school to talk to the kids, 99.999% of those kids are not thinking in their head, that could be me one day. But when you're a baseball guy and you look like their dad, or pictures of, like something like that, I think that helps relate with kids significantly more. I also do think that, the history of baseball and the inclusive nature and everything, especially that's going on now, I mean, I think that it is probably definitely more than ever, literally, for anyone. And that's what's so special for me. I mean, the team that I used to be at, Jose Altuve played for. And whether you like the Astros or not, whatever, but the fact is that a guy that's that height is that good at this game, that I hope that every parent shows their kids, that, again, you don't have to be 6'9" and jump through the roof, or, like some of these Micah Parsons, who's the most jacked, fast linebacker. And that's what, baseball is a game for everyone.
Yeah. Thanks, Jordan. Thanks so much for that too, because that's what oftentimes a lot of people do. They're told it's for everybody.
Oh, I mean, I'm from outside of Philadelphia. One of my favorite all-time players is John Kruk.
Okay.
I doubt Krucky would be that awesome at basketball or football. But, I mean, he, was a very, very great baseball player.
Yeah, for sure. So thanks so much for that. And, definitely thank you so much for joining me today. It's definitely awesome talking with you.
Yeah. Oh, happy to, man. And email me or contact me anytime.
Yeah.